And what is perfection in action? Everything you do it with your heart, your soul. You do it to the best of your ability. No matter how hard it is, and sometimes life is tough, it gives you hard times. Anything you embark on in life, anything, you always have to struggle a little first before you can get over the struggles to be successful at it. You know, you study for a degree, hard work studying, right? Those of you who've been to university, late nights. I mean, I went to university many years ago, coffee all night. Not very good for me, but it's the only way you could stay up and pass and get what you wanted. So anything in life, you know, when you start, it's hard work. But if you persist and keep going with the philosophy of perfection in action, then what happens to you? The gods elevate you. And we have one such student here, and in the name of Ileana, and I hope I don't embarrass her today. I don't mean to, but she came to the last retreat we had in Portugal, Johnny, you remember, and she was shining, and you remember, laughing, really shining and saying she's going to make a difference. She really wanted to make a difference. She's in the nursing world, and she works with lots of nurses. I'm going back and I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to let my light shine. And suddenly she was called gets a phone call, and she's moved to another department. Anyway, she worked as a clinical nurse, which she'd never done before in her life. And this is her letter that she received from the hospital. Re Eliana Ramirez. I would like to congratulate you on the employment of Ileana, who has been absolute wonderful asset in this clinic in the last 2 weeks in helping it run an extremely, look at all the adjectives, extremely smooth and efficient ENT clinic, both for myself and Professor Saeed. And I know this as we have discussed her personally, and I am sure Peter Clark, when he was here last week as well. She is really a prime example of an excellent nurse, very keen to learn, bright and intelligent. Wow. And of course, when you read things like that, then you know people are applying yoga in their life. You know, because she goes into a job and she told me she never was a clinical nurse before. She worked in wards, shifts, and suddenly she was given this job, and her only thought was, I want to do it to the best of my ability, as enthusiastically as possible, and with a lot of love. And when you work like that in life, it comes. But so many of us live life so dully. We go to work so bored. We come home so bored. We look at our home. There's no inspiration anywhere. Everything is so mundane. But when you bring light into your home, light into your life, how do you bring in light? And this is where the Raj Yoga science gives you the grounding, the basics. Raj Yoga means the king of yogas. What does yoga mean? We're going to go intensely into the meaning of yoga today. But Raj Yoga means the path to yourself, the inner journey inside to who you are and what you are. And when you are totally convinced, because I am, that we are spiritual beings living a material existence, when you are totally convinced of that, your whole life will change. But no point getting visions of light and having all these wonderful things happen to you if you don't know how to live your life. I know many spiritual people, and they tell me they're very spiritual, but they're depressed 90% of their life. And I go, pardon? Isn't spiritual supposed to be peaceful and happy? This is a little confusing to me. You know, the reason why I came into spirituality was to find my peace, because I was disturbed, diseased, and unpeaceful. And I came into yoga to find what was the meaning of life, to be easeful, peaceful, and useful, as my master said. And this is the whole Raj Yoga science. And the reason why I've fallen in love with this science is because it gave me the tools, the grounding, the grounding on how to develop this easeful, peaceful, and useful way of being. Because it's very easy to talk about spirituality. I have met great intellectuals in my life. I remember very early on when I started teaching, and you may remember, you happened to be in that group when I was teaching in St. Martin's. And there was a very highly intelligent man came in who used to be a priest and left priesthood or whatever. Highly intelligent. And he started bombarding me with questions. And finally, I asked him, I said, may I ask you a question? You know so much about all this. Do you have peace? And you know what his answer was? No. Nothing else needed to be said. Because all this information, everything here, is for you to find your peace. So where are you missing? Why isn't the peace coming? And peace can't be got overnight, and this is what I love about the sutras as well, because we'll come to that sutra that you will learn by heart, saying that you have to do it for a long time, without a break. And what is the work you have to do? The whole book tells you what the work you have to do is. So people think just by studying a few lines, taking one course here and one course there, they're enlightened. Oh my goodness gracious. That's why we have so much trouble in the world with false gurus who have so many powers and think, I own you all. So I tell you, if you do this, you're evil. And if you really understand the divine energy is love. We're all here, we all make mistakes, we're all going to grow, we're all going to fall, we're all going to suffer. But how to go through it all? There's this beautiful Raj Yoga science. At least it gave me the tools, and it's been the passion of my life since I started it. And this has been my goal, to spread it, as much as possible. Because if it works with one person, well, this science was written 5,000 years ago. People haven't changed much. Circumstances have, but they're not happier. Are we happier? Are we a happier society? I don't see that we are happier. We have everything we need with a push of a button. Instant coffee, instant this, instant... Are people happy? No. Because it's not about instant. It's about being. It's about understanding. It's about living the spirit. You can't say, oh, I'm going to study or do this and I'm going to have peace. You have to be that peace. You are peace. The whole yoga science says, this is who you are. And we have lost it because we got involved in the outside world. We got lost in our pain. We got lost in our self-pity. We got lost. And is it wrong to be lost? No, that's the journey. The earth is our university. This is where we've come to learn about our spirit, that we are souls and spirit in this body. This is the journey. And of course the journey is not going to be easy, because the body and the material things are always going to, I need. And there's another voice inside saying, but careful, the more you need, the more you suffer. When you say, I have everything I want, you're in peace, but how to develop that state of, I have everything I need. How to develop it, how to be there, how to live in that state. I have everything I need, even though the whole world is crumbling down around you. How do you do that? And that's what the science offers you. Of course, any science is, you have to be the scientist. You have to be the scientist. Give you all the ingredients. But if you don't put all the ingredients together and cook it, it doesn't work. So no point getting the ingredients if you don't use them. And using Eliana as an example just now with that letter, she got the ingredients and she applied it immediately. She did it with so much love that she didn't have to go and look for the change. The change came to her. She got the call. She made a request to the universe. I want to make a difference. I want to shine that light. She didn't say, I want a house, I want a brand new car, I want like a new boyfriend, I want No, she didn't say any of those things. She said, I want to shine like a bright star. I want to make a difference to the world. I want to serve, love, give, laugh. Wow, that was her request. And she comes home and she gets that phone call. And now she's given an opportunity to do all those things. Now many people cop out. Too much, can't do the job, is it maybe no low self-esteem, or they get too proud. Oh, look at me, I'm so clever. Do you know people do that? I'm the head nurse now for the clinic, you know, so then you stop putting all the other nurses down. No. You know what she said to me when I read that letter? She said, I think every nurse, if every nurse got a letter like that in all the wards, then all the people would be so happy and all the nurses would be so happy. Did you see? The joy she got immediately. She felt, I'd like all my fellow nurses to get the same joy. So that's what we call selfless. And when you're selfless like that, of course you are happy. Because you're not hoarding, keeping, you know, we've been taught again and again through generations. Ownership, hoarding, keeping. Even God, poor God, religions hoard God. My God is like this, your God is like this, and my God is... They hoard God as if God could be hoarded. As if somebody can control that has created everything. I mean, what kind of reality are we living in? We must be fools. You know, how can that be? If it created everything, how can anybody hoard it or ownership? There's no ownership. And that's the non-attachment that you'll hear about in spirituality for the next year or however long I take to finish it. No idea. No idea. And some of you have heard it over and over again, but like I said, I've read this book for 20 years. I still read it. And every time I read it, I see something new. Why? Because I've grown. And maybe 20 years ago, you know, when I thought, oh, that was quite easy. I got 100% for my exam. I did really well. With a cocky attitude, thinking I knew it all, only to rediscover through pain and suffering I knew nothing. And now I will never say those words again. All I know is that this science works. It brought peace to my life, and not only mine, now in 20 years I have proof, because so many have gone on this path. And so many, well, we have them sitting around me, you know, have progressed in their own lives. They've risen their life, their light. And you know, all the teachers in this yoga center, yes, of course people fall. And people tell me, oh, you know, Nalanie, you think this teacher's so good, but you don't know what she does when you're not around. And you know what? I really don't care. I don't care, because for me, what is important is, you know, it's a journey, and you're going to fall on the journey. We all do. For me, the journey is that you're actually making it. And you know what? Somebody asked our master along the road, they said, Gurudev, what happens when we get this spiritual knowledge and we become too proud, you know, because it's happened with all the traditions, with all the religions, in every different tradition it's happened. You know, they get so high up in the echelon that they think, no, oh, I am the guru and you're the students, kind of thing. So what happens if that should happen to us? And he said to her, don't worry. Life will make sure that they get a knock on the head and they have to learn. It's not your business. And that's so freeing. You know, if people are on that journey, they're good people. Yes, they may develop those things, but life will show them that they can't keep it. They'll develop some kind of depression or some kind of sadness or some suffering, and life will teach them if they get the message. I always say God knocks gently at our door. I say, okay, tomorrow. Then he bangs. Okay, tomorrow. And then he breaks your door down, and then you have to do something about it, you know? And that's exactly what happens for everyone. Why? Because we all know we are all spirit in this body. It's a fact. This body is going to leave, or we are going to leave it behind. And the more firmly we have this knowledge, when it becomes so clear in all the cells of our body, and this is why we have to repeat it, because in here it's very clear to everyone. everyone. You walk out the door, you go home, and suddenly a wife or a husband tells you off, oh, doing like yoga again, blah, 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 blah. Where's your peace? Gone. That's why it has to be repeated over and over again until it gets into all yourself, in all your cells, every single cell of your body. And then when you go home and your wife, your husband tells you, oh, the yoga, sorry you had a bad day. You know, can I get you some food? Would you like a drink? Non-affected. Your problem, not mine. I'm really happy. Then you know you found your peace. Then you know. And what greater joy to live on this earth with that silence and that peace while all the world is going da 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 da. Okay, fine, that's what you think. I'll come to my own conclusion. Because you can. You're coming from a place of silence. You're coming from a place of truth. And then you can come to your own conclusion. And it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, because that conclusion will not allow you, after you read the science, to hurt anybody with that conclusion. It will not allow. Even if you want to, you cannot anymore. Because the power of love and the power of God is so strong that if you do all the practices and you ask God to go away, He won't. Make sure that He works through you, or she will work through you, or it will work through you. It's power, it's energy. It's soul energy. It's twinkling stars, as some gurus will describe, that you see, It's twinkling everywhere. That's what it is. So that energy will come into your body, revive your cells so that you can do what you have to do. And don't get so personal. Don't take insults so personally. Don't take praise so personally. One day somebody will praise you, next day they'll insult you. No big deal, right? No big deal. Learn to take criticism. Learn to take criticism. It's your practice. I mean, if nobody criticizes you, how are you going to be peaceful? How do you know you're peaceful? If everybody's praising you all the time, it's easy to be happy. Unfortunately, life isn't that simple. You're not going to be praised all the time. Just when you get so comfortable in your praise, you'll be not. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. And you don't have to take my word for it. Just look at your own life. Just look at your own life. You look at all the things that have taken you back to your spirit. They're the hardest shocks. They take you back because there's nowhere else to go with your pain. There's nowhere else to go. And it takes you back to, who am I? What am I? I know I'm soul, but do I really know it? Do I really feel I'm one with everything? Look at my actions. I'm saying I'm one with everything, but I'm not behaving like that. I'm not living like that. I get angry quickly. I hurt people quickly. I'm so impatient. I don't like hard work. I'm lazy. You start to see all the things that you're not doing. And then you start to do the things by yourself, naturally, that you're not doing, because you realize if you don't, you won't have any peace. How many people always have what's the word starting with D, when you have two things in your mind and you can't, this dilemma. Yeah, when you have a dilemma in your mind. How many people, when they have a dilemma in their mind, they have no peace. They have no peace, because should I do this, should I do this, should I do this, should I do this? There's no peace. So this is where this teaching helps you to watch the dilemma rather than let it take you over. And the reason why they have this dilemma and why they have no peace is because there's something in their soul telling them that there's a direction they have to go, but they don't really want to. There's always a loud voice, and it tells you, I really want to go there because I really, really, really want this. I really, really, really want this. And it's not bad, and it's not going to hurt anyone. And there's another voice, but Not sure if you should go that way because this is going to happen and that's going to happen, but I deserve this. No, you don't. Do you know there's always going to be that? But when you study this truth, this science, then your decision will be based on, I don't know which road you go. You may go to this road or you may go to that road. But it will be based on a higher force working through you, where there is no self-judgment. Whatever the road may be. But you have to take one road in life, otherwise you stay stuck. And how many people get panic attacks? My study with counseling over the 20 years, I have learned something really quite interesting. When people have panic attacks, it means that they're not doing what they were born to do. There's something they're not attending to. There's something their soul, their spirit is telling them that they don't want to listen. And when I finally get it out of them, especially when people are older, they will say, I wanted to do this in my life, but really I can't because I have all these responsibilities. But did you hear what you said to me? I say, I really want to do this in my life. And why are you getting the panic attacks? Because you're not doing them. You really want to do it, but you can't because of this responsibility and that responsibility. You blame your family, you blame your husband, you blame your wife, you blame everybody that you don't do it. That's why you're getting the panic attacks. You need to do it and stop blaming everyone. Oh, but no, you don't understand. So I had family, I have children, I have grandchildren. I understand. I run a household, I pay bills, I understand. I have the same dilemmas as you did, but you just have to follow the higher voice. It's not easy to follow the higher voice. It was not easy when I took the yoga path. My husband was so angry with me. Are you going off now? You're going to become a monk? What do you want to do with your life? And I told him, give me time. I just want to come back a better wife, a better mother, and a better human being. I'm not leaving you to study because I'm longing to get out of the house. I'm leaving you to study because I want to find me. And then have a courage to face that anger and do what I had to do. Come back, still angry with me for 2 or 3 years. Until he saw the change in me. So it's not that just because you have your calling in life, it's going to be made easy for you, it's going to be a bed of roses. It's not going to happen like that. It's going to be tough to prove that you can follow your calling, that you can go through the battles with love, that you can change people through working on yourself. In the end, he loved it. He loved it. Never praised me till the last few months of his life, but he used to tell all his friends, and they used to tell me, so I was very lucky. Why doesn't he say it to me? Not the kind of person, didn't want to give me a big head, thank God for that. I always said, when he passed away, I lost my ego basher. So, this is what the science gives you. So let me explain a little bit of the background of the... First of all, it's called the Yoga Sutras of Sri Patanjali. Can you all say that with me? The Yoga Sutras of Sri Patanjali. Because this is going to be like a study course for you, but you don't have to take notes if you don't want to. For those who do want to, you can. It's just for personal study, for you to grow deep within, all right? So it's good to know, and then when you talk to people, sometimes you need to talk from a place of knowledge and not say, oh, because it is, it just is. We know it just is, but not everybody. People want scientific explanations, and you should have the ability to show them scientifically how spirit works and moves in the world. You need to be able to have that grounding, so when you explain yourself, that force is in you that energy that you've lived that can transmit to others. Because that's the only way you can teach spiritual knowledge, by the way, by transmitting through your own life, by the way you live, transmitting, And joy is one of the ways to live. You know, laughter, we talked about live, love, laugh, you know, but how to do it all. How to do it all. So the Yoga Sutras of Sri Patanjali, can you all say it?
Yoga Sutras.
Okay. Yoga Sutras of, is it Patanjali or Sri Patanjali? Patanjali. You see, I have it's respectful. Yeah. It is. Oh, that's why. It is. We use, that's why when it's actually called the Yoga Sutras of Sri Patanjali.
It's not by Sri Swami.
No, the word Sri, just to explain to you, is a respectful term, like when they say Nalanie ji or Lakshmi ji or Anju ji, whatever. Ji and Shri are respectful. And I remember when I first took the Raj Yoga course, I was taught to say Shri whenever I mentioned, like, for example, we wouldn't say Jesus, we would say Lord Jesus, Lord Buddha, Shri Patanjali, Shri Swami Satchidananda. It's just kind of like respect, to anybody who is so spiritually evolved in the world. So the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Now, who was Patanjali? Some people, nobody really knows. This text was written 5,000 years ago. You see, men and women always had dilemmas. We always wondered who we were and what our mission on earth was, always. From the beginning of mankind, we were wondering, why are we here? What is the purpose of our life? Is there something in it? So this was written 5,000 years ago. And the way it is written is like shorthand. They say Sri Patanjali may have been one teacher, or it may have been a group of teachers that called themselves Patanjali School or whatever. Nobody really knows, but let's suppose he was one teacher. What happened prior to these 5,000 years? Spiritual knowledge was passed on to very few people, very high intellect and understanding of the spiritual life by teacher to student, and this was passed on through the generations. However, as we became more materialistic in ourselves as human beings, with the coming of more things and more things, this kind of energy or this kind of knowledge started to dissipate, and people used to misunderstand, etc., etc. So what happened is, this was written by either Sri Patanjali or his students in shorthand form, so that the information would not leave the earth. So that's why we study the sutras. The word sutras means threads. Sutras and threads, can you say it? Sutras? Threads, they mean threads. Now, if you think of a tapestry with all the threads, and so here are all the threads that put together make this beautiful picture and gives us clues. All these different sutras gives us a thread on how to build the beautiful tapestry called our lives. So here we get the threads. Now it's up to us how we live our life. And this is the great freedom human beings always had. I always tell my patients or my students, when a situation arises that is not good for you, there's two things you can do: accept or scream. Choice is yours. You scream, you shout, why me, why me, why me? You suffer more longer. Long time of suffering. You accept this is the way. Ooh, immediate pain, tremendous pain. You burn up, but after a few months, it's done. The other way, you scream, shout, scream, shout, scream, shout, waste 20 years of your life, and then you come to the same point where one day you have to accept it. Because if you don't, it's not going to go away. It's just not going to go away. So the science, what this science gives us is the freedom of making clear choices. There are the tools. What do you want to do with them? It's up to you. It's all your choice. So that's the meaning of sutras. So they were written about more or less 5,000 years ago to a group of students, and they took these notes. And they called it the science because it's the science of the mind. The sutras, it's like a map on how to understand your soul, a map on how to get to God, if you want to call it God, or you want to call it your higher self, or you want to call it Jesus, or you want to call it Shiva, you want to call it whatever you want to call it. That dynamic energy, I call it the unconditional love. God for me is unconditional love. So these are all, this is the map to show you how to get there. You follow it. It's a little bit of a shortcut. We're all going to get there one day anyway. If not in this lifetime, many lifetimes. But sometimes on this path of life, maybe we've had so many lives before now, we're a little tired. We want a little peace. We realize desiring so many things don't make us happy. Don't you sometimes feel like that? So tired of wanting things. I'm quite happy to live a simple life. And I love to give this example of people going on long holidays. They eat a lot, Their first few days, they're excited, eat, drink. And after 2 weeks, they come back, uncomfortable. Oh, I've had enough of food. Can you just have plain home food? Because you just had enough. And you're so happy with the simple. Suddenly a Rivita cracker with hummus is so delicious. At least for me, it's so delicious, That's how I felt when I came back from Hong Kong, when I had all the delicious food. But thank God I don't pig out anyway. It's not, with the science of yoga, you don't want to do that anyway. Because now if I overeat, I'm not going to feel not so good the next day. So you don't want to spoil the next day, because the next day is too important to live. You don't want to spoil it with tummy aches and being so full and so uncomfortable. So by learning the science, you don't want to hurt your body. You don't want to hurt it. You want to make it alive. You want to live every minute. You want to live every day to the best of your ability. Even though it's a tough day, you still want to do it to the best of your ability. It gives you that inspiration. So here we will start on the yoga science. So like I said, it's a science. And what is science has to be proven. So you have to practice in order to prove that the science works. When I first studied this science, the first thing I said was, I'm not sure this is going to work. So I took each sutra. Later on you will get into the more practice ones, and then I'll make you do some work. If you like, I will still assign essays to all of you. It's up to you if you want to write it or not. They will be for you. I will not mark them. So what was I going to say? Yeah. So when you study these sutras, as we go through this book, please, I think we have some books for sale in the shop.
In the shop.
Prema, do we?
I think you do. I'll check later.
Yeah. Did the new order come?
Well, it didn't include Patanjali.
Oh.
I think we have from the previous order. So if not, I can place an order again. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want, you can buy yourself the book. I would recommend it as we go through it, because it's really nice when you hear something. And then this is what I did. I took it home and I said, I'm not sure if you really work. And practiced it and practiced it and practiced it and practiced it until one day things just started to work. I didn't ask for how long will it take. I just wanted to know what God was in my life. That's all I wanted to know. That was my goal. I wanted to know why I was here. I wanted to know God. 2 things. And I got to know that in its own time, He'll come to you. So here we start with Sutra 1, which is so simple. You can imagine all these spiritual students in a classroom and the teacher saying, now the exposition of yoga is being made. That's Sutra 1. Now I'm going to explain to you about the science of yoga. If you want it, take it. If you don't want it, leave it. The choice is yours. My job is to give you that information. And that's Sutra 1. Isn't that easy? Great. And the second one, I'd like you all to learn it. I'll say it first in Sanskrit and then in English. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. And that means, that translates into the restraint of the modification of the mind stuff is yoga. I'll explain it now. You see why we have to explain the sutras. You can't just read it. Can you all say after me? Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Will you just say it and I'll explain it?
Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha.
Okay, very good. Again.
Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha.
Yoga means yoga. What does the word yoga mean?
Union.
Union, yes. Union with what?
Divine.
With the divine. Union with your higher self. Union with your spirit. Union. To yoke on to that higher self. To know God in you. That part that was given to you to experience. And that's the word yoga. Union. Union. And if you don't believe in the word God, whatever for you God is, like I said, for me it's unconditional love. So to yoke on to that unconditional love. Chitta. What is chitta? Chitta is consciousness. Each one of us comes with a memory bank, right? And if you don't believe that, then you just have to watch each newborn child. In one family, you have 5 children. Well, we have 7 in our family. None of them are the same. Why shouldn't they all be the same? They got the same home, got the same parents, got the same upbringing, and yet the same upbringing, 2 children in the same family will react totally different to. Totally different to. Why? So what has that child come with? Obviously some kind of memory, some kind of personality. Where did that personality come from? If we all came one time and died one time, you do good, you go to heaven, you do bad, you go to hell, and we should all be identical, right? So why? Some come one way and some come the other way. So, and this is what it's saying. The chitta, our chitta, each one comes with our individual makeup, our individual stuff that we have to learn in this life. And this chitta is like our consciousness. In it exist all the experiences that we've had throughout many, many, many lifetimes. We don't know how many lifetimes we've lived. And if you don't believe in reincarnation, no problem also. Your personality had to come from somewhere, and you just have to ask where from. That's your question. We will cover all those things later on in the course as well. We will cover, how do you come to the conclusion that there is reincarnation? It'll be a realization. More than anything else. I remember I had a student here when she first came many years ago. No such thing as reincarnation. No problem, you don't have to believe in it. You don't have to come back. She came back and back and back. And 10 years later, 10 years, I hadn't seen her for a few years, and she goes, oh, Nalanie, and I was definitely, I think, in my last life, I said, pardon? She said, no, I've been thinking about it, and I look at life, and I look at people, and I, remember the sutras when I heard them, and I see life as it is. Of course there's reincarnation. I said, oh, great to hear you made that transition on your own, because when you know it, isn't it true? Somebody can tell you something 1,000 times, but if you don't know it, you just don't know it. And it's not truthful till you know it. So you have to know it. So the chittas is what we all come with, our makeup. And in it is like we have the DNA and the chromosomes and the genes, right? All this is given to us, our body shape, who we are, to learn certain lessons in this life. That's why many times I tell you, Look at your personality. It'll give you many clues about what you should be doing with your life. Look at what you enjoy doing naturally. Look at the natural instinct in you. You know, if you're still getting panic attacks, you're not following your natural instinct. You're just saying, oh, I have to do this job because that's what I've been told. And you're angry that you have to do it, you know. And imagine spending a whole lifetime being angry because you're fearful to take the other road, and maybe the other job is better, and maybe you'll be really happy in it. Fear stops you from growing. So the chitta, we come with all this memory, and the chitta consists of 3 parts. Okay, now this is the technical scientific bit which I want you to understand in yourself. Okay, for example, you know, when we want something, right? Now, for example, if somebody came in here with a nice smelling, what do you feel like eating?
Chocolate.
Okay. Somebody came here suddenly, oh, with a nice bar of Cadbury's Dairy Milk, you know. I want it. The first instinct, normally, most people, they offer it, yeah, longing to have it, right? And you'll just eat it. There's no process in it. And this is where addictions come from, and this is where a lot of emotional addiction comes from. You see someone, you're very attracted, and you want it. But the chitta is not that simple. It tells you, hey, wait. If you do this all the time, you see it, you want it, you take it. Sometimes what you need and you want is really not what is good for you. It's really not good for you. So what happens with this scientific process? You start to understand, okay? And here it's explained. The consciousness consists of 3 parts. First, it's your ego. You all know your ego. It's called ahamkara in Sanskrit. You don't have to know it unless you really want to take this course seriously. And it's your ego, and it's the I part of you. I want it, I have to have it. I. It's my life. It's all about me. And frankly, that's what I thought when I first started yoga. I was like that. And I thought I was unselfish. I thought I was a good person. But when I looked at my thinking, it was all, I, Nalanie, needs this. I, Nalanie, needs my husband to tell me he loves me 10 times a day. I, Nalanie, needs this. I, Nalanie, would like to go for dinner. I, Nalanie, wouldn't like this job. It was I. No wonder I was so miserable. And so I didn't even see that. So that's the I, ahamkara part of the mind. And then you have the second part of your mind, which is the buddhi, your intellect, the deciphering of information. And depending on how smart your intellect is, you will know what decision to make. But let's say you don't really think about the spirit, you really don't spend any time in the day thinking about keeping your body healthy, you don't spend any time on those kind of things, then your intellect will probably make a wrong decision, right? It'll just say, let me just do this, without thinking. And then you've got the third part, the mind itself, where the thoughts come through, right? Now, if you imagine the mind, okay, can you all imagine a mirror in front of you? Can you see it? Close your eyes. I want to see a mirror in front of you. Can you see a mirror? Okay, open your eyes. There's that mirror. And it's a mirror in Disney World. And that mirror is really crooked. It has waves in it. What will you look like?
Crooked.
Crooked, right. You go to another mirror, have you gone to the Hall of Mirrors? And yeah, all of us have as kids, right? And then you go to another mirror, and it makes you look so big. You go to another mirror, and it makes you look so skinny, right? But none of them are truthful. None of them are truthful. So the mind is like that. When it's not refined, when it's not refined, when it's angry, when it's disturbed, when it's full of lust, when it's full of anger, it will not give you the right information about you. It lies because the mirror was distorted. Because the mirror is distorted, you see the world as distorted. But it's all happening to you. The world is the same. Only your mind is sick. So if your mind is sick, because you've got a curved mirror that can't see things straight, you will see the world as sick. It's this Sanskrit story. There is this beggar lying down in the street. The first man comes, beggar lying down in the street. He must be a good-for-nothing, a drunkard. I'm not going to give him any money. Walks away. The second one comes. Oh, the beggar. Oh, I am sure he's been having a lot of drugs. Maybe even a thief. That's why he has no home. I will not give him anything. Awful. These human beings should be killed and crucified. The third man comes. Eeks. These people using our streets, messing up our streets, kicks the beggar and walks away. The fourth one comes. Oh, poor man. I hope he didn't have a tough time. I'll leave some money for him so he can get some food. God bless you, and walks away. Which one is the beggar? Do you see?
The ones that didn't help him, no?
No, we don't know. We don't know. But the three that criticized went away angry, irritated, and put bad energy. The one that was peaceful, nothing, was peaceful, left peaceful. The three left disturbed. The truth, we don't know. And this is what yoga tells you. We sometimes really don't know the truth, but we have to live who we are, our nature. And sometimes the end result maybe isn't the one we want. But if we don't live our good nature, we don't live our kind nature, we can't live with ourselves. We're not happy. We're not good people. We were born to be loving people. We were born to be kind. You know, how do I know that? I know that because every time I meet somebody in my counseling room who's done something to hurt somebody else, they don't like themselves. There's your proof. I don't need proof. I've seen it over and over and over again. You know, today was horrible. I lost my temper. But they deserved it. They may have deserved it, but you're suffering. Do you know? Get real. They deserved it. Yes, I agree with you, but you are suffering. If they deserved it, you'd be free, wouldn't you? I said what I wanted, and I'm so happy now. But no, they get happy for a little while, and then they start to feel the guilt and the anguish, and I don't know how many Hail Marys and Our Fathers they have to do to regain their souls. And that's the truth. That's what I see all the time. So it's all what you think, and this is where this sutra is so important. As you think,
You become.
etch that in your mind. If your mind is full of, I want, etch it. You will be crying and suffering. If you want and you were meant to have, you would have it, guaranteed. But you want, and it's not there. What can you do? And it teaches you how to deal with that want that you can't have. So with the refined intelligence, you can say, look, today, I love the smell of the chocolate. It's delicious, I know. But today, chocolate's not really good for me. I got a bit of a cough. It brings mucus in my body. No, thank you. And walk away happily. That chocolate has not got to affect your life. Because you've used, or you could say, I'm feeling really great today. I would love a piece of chocolate. I've been a bit tired and need a bit of energy. It's going to do me a lot of good. It's so delicious and my body's doing so well with it. And you'll take 1 or 2 pieces, and that's all you need, and you will not be greedy, and you will not take in excess. And you'll let it go. And you're able to enjoy the chocolate. But you will know. You will know. Because you'll be so clear. And this is what I loved about the yoga science. It made me so clear. You know, prior to the yoga science, I thought, you have to be good to everyone on the outside. Hello. I don't really want to do this for you, but I have to because people think I'm bad. Isn't it true? I have to do it. I have to be the martyr, otherwise people will think I'm a bad wife or a bad mother or a bad human being. It's all, what will people think of me? What will people think of me? And inside you're burning. I don't really want to do it for you, but I have to. It says, wonderful about this thing about this gift is you can say that really nicely, you know. Like last night we had graduation, 22 people and they passed this course and they were all glowing and really with 7 months of hard work, you know, Saturdays, essays and talks, and great group, very enthusiastic about the science. So yesterday, everybody was so joyful. We had a wonderful graduation, everybody laughing, their families happy, and then of course they were all going to dinner. Nalanie, come. You know what? I've had a brilliant evening. I'm really happy to stay home. You don't mind, do you? And the past, I have to go, I should go, I should celebrate. No, I'm exhausted. I want to stay home. I'm so happy to put up my feet. We're working
Metió la pata.
I lost one leg. So, do you know, but happily, without any guilt, without any feeling I'm hurting anyone or anything, because I'm hurting this one, you know, there's some new students, maybe they'll take it personally. None of that nonsense. They take it personally, that's their problem. It's meant in love, you know. I've had a great time, it's enough for me, I need some quiet time. And to do it so easily and so happily and no feeling of guilt or worry, and no worry, what are they thinking and am I a good teacher, am I bad? Wow, none of that. In fact, saying I'm really happy to stay home. Thank you guys, enjoy your dinner, have a really good time. Really enjoy, really laugh and really have fun, you know. And you know, this is the freedom. Maybe last night I would have said, I really want to come with you if I wasn't tired. But I knew I had next day to worry about and I didn't want to get over exhausted. But there's no desire pulling either way. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, had the energy, I would have said yes, impromptu. If I didn't have the energy, say no. So, and that kind of freedom is so nice to live with, because I feel like so many people can't make simple decisions like that. Like I couldn't before the science, and every year you get stronger and stronger and stronger. And sometimes I don't want to do something, but I realize I should do it also. You know, there's also that. I really don't want to do this, but I think this time I should, because it will benefit many people. You know, and myself in the end. And then I'll do it. Even though in the beginning I didn't want to, but I have get this feeling you should do it.
Like teaching.
Yes, like teaching. And now I don't complain about it anymore. I just accept it. When I was asked to teach many years ago, I always tell the story, I didn't want to. I really didn't want to teach. I really wanted to be a student. I consider my student today very much a student myself. And I was told, my master, Nalanie, you have to teach. No, Gurudev, I don't know anything. I can't teach. And then again, throughout 1 year, and at the end of that 1 year, I had a dream. It was Christmas time, and the dream was so vivid. I know it sounds really corny, but it's the 100% truth. You know, I'm sitting on a park bench, and a friend of mine is sitting on the bench, and she's telling me, "You're just a coward. You have the knowledge and you don't want to share it." And I go, no, I'm not a coward. I don't have the knowledge. I really, no, you don't want the responsibility. That's what it is. You don't want the responsibility. And then I go, no. And suddenly there's this angel there and it tells me, you don't want the responsibility. You are a coward. And I woke up the next morning and I called the Catholic Community Center at that time, because I believe they rented out rooms. Can I have a room on a Wednesday for 2 hours? I went to my husband, I'm going to start meditation classes. What? I had a dream, I said. No wonder he thought I was mad. Can you blame him? I really don't blame him. I had a dream. So I followed that dream, and I remember the first class I gave. In fact, I thought nobody would come, didn't advertise. I just told 2 or 3 people who had been asking me, about teaching them meditation. So I said, good, nobody will come. I'll do 1 week and I'll leave. Finish, great. 12 people came. And in fact, one person, as she walked up the steps, Nalanie, I'm telling you, I'm coming today, but if I don't like what you have to say, I'll never come back. And she thought I feel offended. And I did. I go, great, fantastic. But it didn't happen, it just grew. But I really remember thinking, great, I can be a student. I want to be a student. But not meant to be. So I realized, and for many years, I think for the first 10 years, I struggled. Many times I thought, I can teach anybody. I can't teach anything. I'm still learning, I'm still growing. What can I teach? So many times I would think, okay, that's enough. I'm going to retire, from teaching and do other things with my life because I love life. Life is full of color. There's so much to do in life. So I thought, no, I'm going to drop it. And every single time I decided, somebody would come into my office and give me a message. Honestly, it would be that clear. That's why I said, you need to do something, you'll be sure you can hear it. It'll be so loud you can't miss it. And it'd be a stranger. I remember the first time I had this big doubt. A person came to see me and she stops. I have to tell you, do you know I'm a psychic? No, I don't know you're a psychic. She goes, oh, I have to tell you that there are lovely things in your office and they're healing. Anyway, she told me wonderful things. And what they were telling me, which I didn't even know, and with such a beautiful message, I felt, okay, God, I can't quit now. And when I walked into the hall, it was on a Tuesday, I'll never forget, because those days I used to teach Tuesday and Wednesday in here. Somebody in the audience said, I smell roses and flowers. And that woman in the room told me just 5 minutes before that that's what those spirits were saying, that they brought into this room every time they entered it. So a strange person said she smelled exactly what I was told. So that was my message. I'm just telling you how things work as they happen. I don't know why I'm telling you this story, but it's maybe to inspire you. Sometimes it's not even something you want to do, but you were born to do. And if you keep getting that message again and again and again, sometimes you just follow it. And now I love it. I love it. I think I just had that thing of selfishness that I want to live my own life the way I want to live it. But little did I know that this life is so much more joyful than if I had wanted to live the life that I thought I wanted to live. I don't think it would have been as joyful as this one. I really don't think so. So there was a higher power guiding me always to live a joyful life. I just listen to the voice. Sometimes a bit stubbornly, like we all do. So sometimes when you're a bit stubborn and there's inspiration flowing through your veins, please don't be so stubborn. I hope you get the dream that an angel visits you. As strong as mine. So going back, so now you understand that's what we created of this chitta, this ahamkara, the ego. Then we have the manas, the mind stuff. And then we have the intellect. With knowledge, the intellect helps you a lot. That's why knowledge is really important on the spiritual path, to that extent, just to guide you, just the map. So here in this sutra, Sri Patanjali tells us the restraint of the modification of the mind stuff is yoga. In other words, there's lots of thoughts that go through our minds, right? Every day. Even now, while listening to me, you will maybe catch 3 or 4 sentences, and then there'll be da 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 da, and then you catch one sentence again, and then you'll miss me for another 20 sentences, and you catch it again. You put me into work because you're not so focused. It's wonderful. So, and that's the truth. That is the truth. And this is the way the mind works until when you practice keeping it still for a long time, then you focus. All the time you're focusing on everything. You just focus. Somebody's talking to you, and that is what the modern New Age philosophers say, be in the moment. They all say be in the moment, the power of now, Eckhart Tolle, power of now. That's what they're talking about. This is what they're talking about years ago. focus so you can see what's happening now, so you are not distracted. So in order to be focused and not distracted, you have to restrain the type of thoughts that come through your mind. The word vrittis, can you all say vrittis?
Vrittis.
It's mind stuff. You think of all these thoughts going like this. That's how I think of it. Little worms everywhere, you know. Millions of thoughts. I should do this, and now I have to do this, and vrittis, right? There's thousands of them. And you have to learn to watch and restrain. Now, I love the word restrain. It's not control. It's not force down. It's not repression. Understood? I have to be good, Nalanie. I have a bad thought. I have to be good. Accept that you have a bad thought. Are you bad? No. So you have a bad thought. Don't do anything about the bad thought. Restrain the bad thought. Doesn't make you bad. We all have bad thoughts. It's just a thought. Restrain it. You don't do anything about it. It's a bad thought. You don't even like, I don't like that thought. It makes me want to do this. I have a bad thought. Fine. Restrain it. Because by doing that bad thought, I put myself in trouble. You already know by saying, I have a bad thought, that you don't want to do it. But you can't help the temptation. So that's why there are the key words. Restrain, hold back. It doesn't tell you to deny yourself or anything. Hold back, think about it. Wait. Look at the thought. Why does it keep coming up? Watch it, restrain it, don't act on it immediately. You know when you get angry and you shout back immediately, you always regret it, you always say something you really, really don't like in yourself afterwards. And then you spend the whole of 1 year justifying why you did the wrong thing. But who's going to listen to your justification? They'll say, oh, again? Isn't it true? Again, the same story? Again, you're left alone in your own mind, in your own world, in a world of suffering. If you're going to be left in your own mind, may I suggest, let it be beautiful. That's why we do in the deep relaxation some lovely visualizations for beginners, for newcomers, because they don't know how to still their mind, so we take them to a nice forest with water to distract the mind from all the nonsense. I have to do this, I have to do. Why do you think so many people suffer from panic attacks today? Why? We live in a world that doesn't stop. We don't stop. You get up in the morning, get breakfast, do this, do. We don't live. We don't sit, get up in the morning and sit with our breakfast and thank you God for my delicious toast and put the butter on it and take that nice sip of that first coffee. Oh my God, what a gift. I love my toast and coffee for breakfast. I really do. And for years everybody will say, oh, I make pancakes for my grandchildren. Do you want pancakes? Do you want that? Toast and coffee. Do you want oatmeal with bananas? Toast and coffee. Unless I go to the ashram where they only offer oatmeal, so I have oatmeal. But my favorite breakfast, toast and coffee. That's what I like. It makes me so happy. So my cells get happy. And to be truthful about it. And but not everybody. Coffee doesn't work for everybody. Some people get very nervous with coffee. So you have to know what's good for your body again. I'm an asthmatic, coffee is good for me. If you are a nervous person, please don't have coffee. It's really bad for you. Give Shanti a coffee and she'll be...
I drink.
She got it.
I drink is what I call it.
She gets electric. She can't do it, because she has so much energy, right? So it would be like poison for her body. So one man's nectar is another man's poison. So you can't judge. Another thing you learn, I can't judge. I can't judge. Wow, already in one sutra, you're just thinking restraining is making you see so many different versions of the same truth. Or what you think is the same truth. You don't know, but you are seeing suddenly so many different versions of the one cup of coffee and the toast and butter, and you shouldn't have wheat because we should all drop wheat. And do you see all this mind stuff? You have to know what your body needs. I can't have cold. Oh, no, fruit in the morning. Do you know how bad fruit in the morning is for me? Cold food. And then you study Ayurveda, and it says people with Vata should not have cold food in the morning. Should not. And then all these people modern now have fruit and apple. It makes my body sick. No, you're just making it up. Okay, I'm making it up. Whatever pleases you, but I'm sticking to my toast and coffee. Whatever. Do you see, this is like that. There's so many things that every time we make an opinion or a thought or something, we have 50 people giving us their opinion, right? So we're always living in this mind pool. No wonder you have panic attacks. You don't know what you think or what you want or where you belong. There's nothing there. So they hold back the thought. Why? Sri Patanjali in the next sutra tells us, then the seer abides in its own true nature. Okay, what do you mean the seer abides in its own true nature? Sounds like very fancy words, right? The seer, the one who watches, right? S-E-E-R, the seer, capital S. When you think of seeing, it's the one who watches. The seer is one who watches. Can you watch your mind think? Everybody in this room, can you watch your mind think? Okay, I'd like you to close your... Not everybody's so enthusiastic, so let's close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Exhale. And can you watch your mind think? Open your eyes. Anybody like to tell me what they thought?
Phone's ringing.
And the man on the outside. Yeah.
Anything
And
else?
the chair.
Oh, see, good. What else did you think?
I was thinking there was no thoughts in my mind.
I was thinking there was no thought.
There's that thought, but it's a simple thought. It's a thought, but it's a simple thought, right? Not so distracted, right? A simple thought. There's no thought in my mind, but there's still the thought that there's no thought in my mind, right? So, so the seer is watching your mind. Who is the seer that watching your mind think? So can you be your mind?
No.
Think about that. Can you be your mind? No. If there's something that's watching your mind think, it can see the two sides of your mind, can't it? I can see the, you always see the picture of the demon and the angel, right? It's all here. Satan doesn't exist outside, it exists in our own minds, right? It's just in there, the angel, the demons. So you become the seer. And then the seer sees all this thing going on. Can't be bothered. I'll live in my own nature. So I restrain the thoughts. And how the Sri Patanjali and the yogic texts describe this nature, our true nature. It describes it as Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means that nature always lives in truth, the real truth, the highest truth. Chit, in consciousness, constantly aware, constantly watching, aware, awake. This is why many spiritual teachers will say, arise, awake, awake your consciousness. In the Catholic tradition, you have the Holy Spirit, the awakening of the Holy, awakening. You see, the same word keeps recurring, awakening of the Holy Spirit. So this seer's nature is truth, consciousness, and which is full of knowledge, you understand. And bliss, absolute bliss, ananda, bliss. In other words, that's our true nature. That's who we're born to be, in that peace. The Buddhists call it the state of nirvana. We call it in Sri Patanjali the state of samadhi, or absorption in God, or contemplation, or being so aware of that seer. Now, if you are so living in this, I have to point here because that's the only way I know how to point. I could say seer, 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 everywhere, seer. But if you're your individual soul, when you are so aware of that truth, knowledge, bliss, absolute, and that's the goal of yoga, when you're so aware of that, then the demon, the angel, the demon, the angel, restrain, I can't do this now, wait. Take a deep breath, you go to that truth, knowledge, bliss, and you feel peace. So what all that nonsense, you go, mind stuff. You tell yourself, it's only mind stuff. Don't get involved in it. It's only mind stuff. It's only the vrittis. The vrittis are there. The mind's job is to think. That's the job of the mind. So we're always going to be thinking. But I can restrain it. No worry about it. I can focus on my true nature. And in fact, bless you. God bless you. Do you need tissue? Yeah. Are you cold? Take this.
I'm fine, I've got this.
You sure? There's a blanket here.
If anyone's cold, let me know. I'll put the heaters on.
Yeah. So that is.
It's like the curly mirror, no?
It's like the curly mirror. Yeah. And then you just see yourself as you really are. The other example, and I'll finish with this, is because there's a lot to absorb, and I'd like you to go home and really think about this. Is the Holy Scriptures give, Gurudev gives, is the example of, before you learn that you are not what your mind thinks, whenever there's something comes into your mind, you react on those thoughts. You get upset, you get jealous, you get this, you get that, and that's where all the problems start in life, right? Because it starts from the mind. You get this thought, somebody tells you, for example, remember many years ago I was working at Westminster Clinic in Waterport. Water Gardens, Water Gardens, thank you. I like her, she's aware, she's focused. So I'm working there, and normally I go in, hello everybody, I'm really, good morning, how are you? But this day I had a very long meditation. It was maybe 2.5 hours. So when you're very quiet for a long time, you can tend to be even more still when you move in the world. So I walked from home, round the corner, quietly feeling this deep peace. So I go in, everybody says, good morning, Nalanie. Good morning. I wasn't upset or anything. Good morning, but not, good morning, da 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 da. Okay, so I spend 2 hours in the clinic, and I go down Main Street, and a doctor passes me 2 hours later. Oh, Nalanie, I heard you're really depressed this morning. What? Who told you that? Oh, no, it doesn't matter, but I just heard you're really, really depressed, but you don't look depressed to me. I said, I'm not depressed, I'm really curious. Who told you that? Well, but you won't say anything. Oh, the nurse who was working there told me that you were really depressed. You walked in with a long face. You didn't talk to anybody. So, in her mind, because she was so, now I understand that, in those days, gossip, right? In her mind, she's so used to seeing me smiling, so she didn't see me like this and just fine. She took it as depression in her mind because I knew her well, was never a very happy person, right? She herself was never happy with life, never happy with her job, never happy there. So immediately she read her thoughts into my mind, saying that I was depressed. Not only that, exaggerating, saying I had a long face and that I looked so tremendously depressed, so as to to really worry this doctor who knew me and never known me like that. So, do you see what I'm saying? How distortion happens? Distortion happens. And you need to be very clear. That's why people tell you things. Unless you don't know it for yourself, don't believe it. Don't allow. I have heard people tell people things that are not true. Not because they're bad, not because they lie, because they see it from their mind and they tell somebody else that thing. The other person gets so disturbed. And when they come to me and I go, but you don't even know if there's any truth in it. Oh, but this person will not lie to me. And I said, I'm not saying the person is lying, but what state of mind is that person in? And I give this example with, relationships, etc. all the time. Because somebody is unhappy in their relationship and another person's unhappy with their relationship. This one can really communicate and learn to get over it. This one has really bad problems because neither of them are willing to help each other. That one will tell this one, leave your partner because I'm going to. You'll never fix it. It's going to be a lifetime of problems, and the good one will get destroyed because of this one. And people listen. And I go, why did you throw away your nice partner? Because of listening. So we have to be really, really very, very careful and very clear. All right? Where the other person is coming from. They're really coming from a good place. They really are because they really believe because their marriage is so bad that yours has to be so bad too. So it's not that they're coming from a bad place, but they're coming from a distorted vision. All right? It's not bad. It's distorted. Learn to use the right words. It's distorted, so it can't be truthful. So so going back to this example that people give of that Gurudev gives, it's like looking into a lake, right? If you look into a very clear lake, what can you see? Anybody?
Reflection.
Your reflection. You take a few stones and throw it into the lake. Do you see your reflection anymore? It's so distorted, right? And this is how the thoughts do. When the thoughts go crazy and you're not abiding in your own true nature and you're not seeing that clear reflection, you will see all these ripples. So you go, panic attack, I can't do it anymore. Do you see what's happening there? So this is why it's so easy when people understand the sutras and they really study it deeply that they cure themselves from stress, from panic attacks. And Sri Patanjali says it doesn't happen right away. He gives the whole... Now this is the goal of yoga, to abide in your own true nature. The rest of the sutras teach us how to do it. Okay? So the whole book is there to teach us how to do it. And when you practice certain things, what happens? For example, later on we will study, when you practice non-violence in your life, all hostility cease. That means the more you stop violent, less violent things are going to happen to you. The more you shout and scream, the more shouting and screaming you'll get in your life. And the more sad or depressed, the more depression you'll get in your life. So, and this is what you will start to see very clearly for yourself. So then, you can change your world from hell into heaven. And that's the idea. Because this earth is really quite troublesome, isn't it? If I say the least. But it's also very beautiful. Otherwise we wouldn't be living in it. So, might as well make it a heaven if we're going to be here. Might as well. That is our freedom of choice. Isn't that great? We can decide to be happy or to be miserable. That's the power we have in our hands. And that's the God-given power. And it says when you follow the road of unconditional love, without judgment, you see the distortion. It's not that you don't. But you don't say it's bad or good. You say it's a distortion. That's rubbish. Don't believe in it. It's a distortion. You're not saying it's bad or good. You're not judging. You're just saying it's a distortion. It's the truth. Then what happens? You live in that state of unconditional love, And then you feel, I want to make a good life for myself and good life for everyone around me. Because the seer that lives in me lives in everybody. The same seer that lives in me lives in each and every human being. So we are all equal in God's eyes. All. And that's what you start to learn. So you start to respect all life and all things, all traditions, accept people have different ways of thinking, how to react to that, how not to react to that, and that's the science. So with that note, we'll finish the session today. So I'd just like you to all repeat after me. Yogas, Chitta, Vritti, Nirodha.
Yoga, Chitta, Vritti, Nirodha.
And it means the restraint of the modification of the mind stuff is yoga. Restraint, modifications, the mind stuff is your thought patterns. In Sanskrit, see if you remember, vrittis, 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 right? And what does yoga mean?
Union.
With what?
With yourself.
Yeah. So that is the work. That's why we meditate. That's why we do all these practices. After yoga, this one. So much work to keep this mind clear so that we can enjoy life and live in bliss. And live in bliss.